us? I read this, I read that, but I want to get it from you. What are you doing with Impact Wrestling?
So currently, obviously, I have the match at Rebellion, and that's my last and one and only special in-ring appearance because I am officially retired. But I am a backstage agent for the girls, the Knockouts division, and I truly have just really loved this role from the day that I got to do it. And I was kind of transitioning near the end of my career anyways, where some of the girls would come to me and ask me, like, what did you think about my match, or is there anything that I can improve on? And I just really loved being able to pass on whatever knowledge I had, because to this day, I still learn from other people as well, and you just want to contribute to the next generation and help them succeed, to the best ability that they can. And I want them to have those special moments that I got to experience too.
Really, right now, the state of women's wrestling is really strong, and you've been a big part about that. The Knockouts division has been a big part of that. Are there some that are on the roster now that you can tell us about or mention their names, and are there others that you have your eye on?
I mean, obviously, Tessa Blanchard is one of them. I think she's really made a strong name for herself right now in the independent scene. She is the current girl that people are talking about. She is probably the future. I mean, she has a lot of name recognition because of her family. But she's carried them, just like Charlotte Flair. It's very difficult to follow in the footsteps of a successful wrestler in your family before you. And for people that have that success, I just tip my hat to them, because it's harder for them than someone who's starting with a clean slate. So, like the Natties and the Charlottes and the Tessas, I think they're doing a really great job. Randy Orton as a man, just great job. I'm trying to think. I love Kaya's been doing such a great job. There's a couple of girls on the indies there. We have Jordan Grace, who's making her name really being known right now, and she's been doing a great job in her singles competition. Honestly, it's just such a great time for women. I've been asked this question numerous times, and I can't just pick even just three, because there are so many options, and there are so many talented girls. And even the last seminar I did and show I went to, where it's an all-girl show, he had 60 girls there in total. It was just amazing to me to see that and how far we've come from just, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, you were lucky to get 2 or 3 at a wrestling school.
Oh, right?
And that would have been a lot. I mean, hey, was that seminar with Rise?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. I got to see Rise in Orlando. They're doing a really nice job. I was glad to see that you were giving a seminar there. But I don't want to focus on Rise. Let me ask you this part of what we're talking about. Gail, do you think that if women's wrestling wasn't at the state that it was in or getting in, that it would have been harder for you to make the decision to do what you're doing now?
No, I don't think anything would have changed. Maybe if I didn't accomplish the things that I have, I might have felt like, oh man, I still haven't accomplished, the things I wanted to do. But when I made the decision to retire, and a lot of people don't know that it took me a couple of years. I mean, it's not like I decided on one day. Actually, when Christy Hemme worked with the company, and she's, my best friend, she was working in the office, and for her, she was protecting me as a friend. She said, well, she knew I was having a problem physically, having back issues, and she said, do you want to think about your retirement soon, because we want to plan this and make it special. And I'd always push her away. I'm like, I'm not ready yet. I don't even want to talk about it, because I'm not ready to even accept that right now. And then when my back started, I really got the MRI and knew where my back was at. I couldn't walk after matches. You take a self-reflection, and I was like, okay, I'm 40 years old. I've accomplished everything I really wanted to accomplish. I don't know what my next goal would be, to be honest. And I was like, okay, it's time. It's time, and like I said, I already started kind of doing the helping phase, and then luckily when Jeff Jarrett came over, I asked him I'd love to be an agent, and he hired me.
That's awesome. And from the physical standpoint of it, I totally get it. I understand, and I'm sure everyone else does, and fans. But I want to go a little bit to the side of that. Do you think, though, it would have been a little more frustrating in the role if women weren't being portrayed bigger than what they are, because what they deserved. And I guess that's where I was going with that question.
Say that again. Like,
would it have been frustrating if you would have been an agent and then working with the women? They're giving you guys some nice spots, but what if the women's wrestling wasn't prevalent, wasn't put up there as much, and they would get one match here, one match there? Do you think that would have been a little more frustrating to try to handle that?
100%. And I just commented on this previously, that as an agent now, I am seeing the difference of when I was an active wrestler. That as a wrestler, I was fighting so much more back in the day, years ago, for, whatever it is, time, more matches, whatever it was. And now I find, on behalf of the girls, I have to fight less battles. And it's because the girls are proving themselves. It's because, this evolution has been coming and it's growing. We're not quite at the place where we want to be yet, but I think we've made huge strides, and I'm happy at where we've come from a couple of years ago.
And making those huge strides. And we'll wrap it up with this part. And again, thank you so much, Gail. It's always great talking to you. It's been a while. I want to go back because this was an awesome match that I saw, and I really think it helped shape the future. But you tell me, because you were in it. What did Gail Kim Awesome Kong at TNA Impact Wrestling Turning Point mean to you and the evolution of women's wrestling?
Oh, wow. Okay, Turning Point was actually, I liked the match after that.
Well, good. Yeah, tell us then, please.
Yeah, so Turning Point was like the first major, I think it was the pay-per-view that we first went on, and people loved it. And looking back at that match, I can look at it as, being hard on myself and being picky, that it was like a basic match, but it told the story continued the story along very well. But the real match, I felt like that we told an incredible story, and we were given the opportunity to have the time and, no DQ, and kind of do what we wanted to do with the final resolution match at the pay-per-view in Universal Orlando. And that's probably, in terms of storytelling and just everything, just everybody was kind of like, let's go Gail, let's go Kong at the beginning of the match for a little while, and then by the end of the match, we had them. And as a performer, that is the best feeling you could ever have. And so that one definitely tops the list for me for most memorable match.
How unusual was that at that time to get that reaction for women?
It was incredible. And just, not just from fans, and of course you want it from fans, and I think, but to get it from everyone, like your peers, and, back then, especially when they don't have much expectations of women, and to blow them away, it's a huge compliment. And just up until that point, too, everything I had begged for and fought for, and to show that we proved ourselves in that moment, there's nothing more you can ask for, honestly.
And Gail, when you're pushing for that, and Kong is in the match and whatever she's doing behind the scenes, can you tell us anyone or some of the people that were in your all's corner to be able to, hey, give them a shot to showcase this, let them have time on this, and push for it too?
I feel like it was the entire office. I mean, when they first called me to join the company, I remember I had just finished a tour in Australia with a lot of TNA talent, and it was right before they aired on Spike or debuted on Spike. And so I met Jeff and Scott, and there was a bunch of people there, and I had worked with Scott D'Amore in my independent days, so we were familiar with each other. And so Jeff, Scott called me up, and he's like, I know you don't want to wrestle anymore, because I had my passion killed at that point. And he said, but we'd love to start a women's division, and, just give it some time, because we only have an hour show right now and not a lot of girls. And so he's like, Jeff, likes you and thinks you're great. And, I was like, okay, great. So I went there, and my passion came back flooding in an instant. Just seeing all the people I used to work with and work the independent days with. It was, I made up my decision right then and there. I'm coming back to wrestling.